McDonald's, the fast food giant that once seemed unstoppable. Everywhere you looked, there were golden arches promising a quick, greasy fix. But recently, something has gone a bit off. Customers aren't exactly queuing up like they used to. In fact, they're disappearing faster than a McFlurry on a hot day. So what's going on? Is it the prices, the food, or maybe something a bit more unexpected? In this video, we'll critically analyze why McDonald's is suddenly losing its grip on the fast food kingdom and why it might not be as simple as you think. Did you know that since 2019, McDonald's menu prices have surged by roughly 40% on average? That means your beloved Big Mac, which cost around $4.39 in 2019, now averages about $5.29, a 21% jump. The Big Mac meal is up by 27%, from $7.29 to $9.29. Chicken McNugget meals have climbed 28%, and fries a jaw-dropping 44%. If you thought fast food was your cheap escape, not anymore. It's becoming a luxury treat. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. McDonald's insists these price hikes mirror the soaring costs of running their restaurants. Labor costs are up about 40%, and food and packaging costs have risen roughly 35% since 2019. So it's not greed or price gouging, as some social media warriors claim, but a response to real inflationary pressures. But if costs are rising industry-wide, why is McDonald's losing customers so quickly? Good question. Well, let's put it in perspective. Inflation in the US has been high, but McDonald's price increases have outpaced the average inflation rate for food away from home, which rose about 29% between 2019 and 2024. So, even if McDonald's argues it's just keeping pace with costs, customers see their meal prices rising faster than their own wallets can stretch. The cheap meal image McDonald's cultivated for decades is now tarnished. So what happens when your core demographic, low to middle-income customers, can no longer justify spending $10 or more on a fast food combo? They stay home or switch to cheaper alternatives. Simple economics. It goes without saying that in the court of public opinion, perception is king. When customers hear stories of exorbitant prices and see their own receipts swelling, the narrative of McDonald's is too expensive now sticks, and perception, not facts, drives foot traffic. In the twinkle of an eye, the brand that once promised "I'm loving it" now risks being seen as "I'm losing it" in terms of customer goodwill. This is crucial because fast food is as much about emotional comfort and habit as it is about price and convenience. Another angle to explore is that McDonald's franchisees operate with some pricing autonomy, leading to price inconsistencies across locations. This can confuse and frustrate customers who see wildly different prices for the same meal depending on where they shop. Inconsistent pricing undermines trust and loyalty. Why pay more here when I can pay less down the street? And while we're busy analyzing every possible angle for why price hikes have made McDonald's lose so many customers, let's not forget the inflationary spiral effect. You see, if McDonald's keeps raising prices to cover higher labor and supply costs, it will have to keep raising prices even more as those costs keep climbing. It's a vicious cycle. However, the real question is, how long can this cycle go on before customers simply walk away for good? To put it bluntly, McDonald's is caught between a rock and a hard place, but luckily, not as hard or rocky as it was for them last year. By the way, did you know that last year over 100 people across 14 US states were sickened by E. coli? O157:H7 linked to fresh slivered onions used on the iconic Quarter Pounder at McDonald's? Of those, 34 required hospitalization, and tragically, one older adult died in Colorado. Now let's pause here. How often do you hear about a fast food chain causing a death? Not often enough to be routine, thankfully, but when it happens, it's a PR and trust nightmare that no amount of marketing can easily fix. This outbreak was so severe that it forced McDonald's to temporarily yank the Quarter Pounder from menus in affected states, a flagship product no less, which is like a car company pulling its best-selling model off the lot. The immediate aftermath was resounding. Foot traffic plummeted by up to 9.4% nationwide, with Colorado, the epicenter, seeing a staggering 32% drop, the first of its kind since the COVID-19 pandemic. Customers who once flocked to McDonald's for a quick, reliable meal suddenly found themselves questioning the safety of what they were eating. And who can blame them? After all, food safety is the bedrock of any restaurant's reputation. When consumers hear E. coli and hospitalizations in the same sentence as McDonald's, it triggers fear, and fear is a powerful deterrent. Even those who didn't get sick or never ate a contaminated burger start second-guessing their next meal choice. It's the classic better safe than sorry principle, amplified by media coverage and social media chatter. Speaking of media, the coverage was relentless. The CDC, FDA, and USDA were all involved, issuing public warnings and updates throughout late 2024. The FDA's investigation pinpointed the onion supplied by Taylor Farms as the culprit, leading to a nationwide recall. McDonald's responded by removing the slivered onions and temporarily suspended quarter-pounder sales in affected regions. But by then, the damage had already been done. The public's perception of McDonald's as a safe, reliable fast food haven has been severely compromised. And let's talk about the legal fallout, because when people get sick after eating from a fast food giant like McDonald's, lawsuits are sure to follow. Multiple lawsuits were filed against McDonald's and Taylor Farms, alleging negligence and breach of warranty. One particularly high-profile case involved Eric Stelly from Colorado, who suffered severe symptoms after eating a contaminated burger. These legal battles not only drain financial resources, but also keep the negative spotlight on McDonald's, prolonging reputational damage. Financially, McDonald's wasn't just losing customers, it was hemorrhaging money. The company reportedly invested over $100 million to manage the crisis, $65 million to support franchisees, and $35 million on marketing campaigns aimed at restoring consumer confidence. But even with these efforts, McDonald's U.S. same-store sales declined by 1.4% in Q4 2024, marking their weakest quarterly performance since the early pandemic days. That's a sobering statistic for a company used to steady growth. Can McDonald's ever fully recover from this blow? This isn't a quick yes or no question, because recovery is not only about reintroducing the quarter pounder or launching value deals. It's about rebuilding trust, and that takes time. Customers remember food safety scares, especially when they involve serious illness or death. McDonald's has to ask itself, how can it guarantee that this never happens again? What new protocols, transparency measures, or supplier audits will reassure a skeptical public? From a consumer psychology standpoint, the outbreak shattered the illusion of McDonald's as a safe bet. Fast food is often criticized for being unhealthy, but rarely do customers worry about outright poisoning. This event flipped that script. It forced consumers to confront the reality that even the most familiar and trusted brands can fail spectacularly in food safety. To put it bluntly, if McDonald's was the king of fast food, this outbreak was the royal scandal that made everyone question the crown. Its slow service will be the mutiny that dethrones it. McDonald's once prided itself on lightning-fast service and a billions-served legacy. Yet today, it's painfully ironic that speed, the very thing that built its empire, is now the Achilles heel dragging it down. How did the Golden Arches, synonymous with quick meals, become slower than about 73% of its competitors? And why does this sluggishness matter so much that customers are fleeing in droves? Let's find out. According to recent industry analyses, McDonald's is now slower than nearly 3/4 of its fast food rivals. Placer.ai data shows a 2.6% drop in foot traffic in early 2025. And while many factors contribute, slower service is a prime suspect. Now, why does speed matter so much in fast food? For one, it's called fast food for a reason, and customers expect convenience and immediacy. When you're hungry and on a lunch break, waiting an extra few minutes can feel like an eternity. McDonald's used to dominate the drive-thru game, but now competitors have caught up, or even surpassed it. The company's own executives admit that the service is broken, with 1 in 5 customer complaints related to speed and friendliness. But McDonald's chose to focus on speed first, probably because a slow burger is a cold burger, and cold food equals lost customers. But how did McDonald's get here? One major culprit is the complexity of its menu. Over the past few years, McDonald's has aggressively expanded its offerings, introducing multiple new items and limited-time offers simultaneously. Sounds like a good idea for variety, right? Well, not when it clogs the kitchen and slows down order fulfillment. Industry insiders and McDonald's Business Research VP Steve Levine have pointed out that the pace of product introduction was too fast, overwhelming kitchen staff and equipment. It is like trying to juggle flaming swords while riding a unicycle. Eventually, something is going to drop. Compounding the problem is the physical layout of kitchens. Traditional prep tables spread ingredients far and wide, forcing staff to run back and forth. To combat this, McDonald's is investing billions in high-density preparation tables that house dozens of ingredients within arm's reach, aiming to speed up assembly. But these changes take time to roll out across 43,000 locations worldwide. Meanwhile, customers are tapping their watches. And what about technology? Surely, in the age of AI and automation, McDonald's can fix speed issues with a few smart upgrades? Well, yes and no. McDonald's is indeed pioneering AI-driven drive-thrus, voice recognition for orders, and ready-on-arrival systems that use geofencing to prepare mobile orders just before customers show up. These innovations are promising and have already helped reduce wait times in pilot markets. But here's the thing. Implementing such technology across thousands of locations is a Herculean task. The rollout is gradual, and in the meantime, many customers still face long waits. But come to think of it, if McDonald's is investing billions and deploying cutting-edge AI, why are customers still leaving? The answer lies partly in expectations versus reality. Customers don't care about the tech behind the scenes. They care about the end experience, getting their food hot, fast, and correctly. When the promise of speed is broken repeatedly, trust erodes. Plus, AI can't instantly fix labor shortages or poor employee training, which remain stubborn issues. As Brian Rice, McDonald's CIO, puts it, our restaurants can be quite stressful. Add to that the challenge of training staff to use new tech and manage complex menus, and you have a recipe for slower service. So while AI aims to ease the pressure, the human factor remains a bottleneck. Another angle we might have blindsided is that McDonald's competitors are not standing still. Chains like Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, and even smaller regional players have streamlined menus and faster service models. Some have even embraced digital ordering and kitchen automation earlier and more aggressively. When customers see they can get a burger faster and fresher elsewhere, why stick around at McDonald's? The convenience and speed equation is simple. If you're slow, you lose, especially in an age when people are suddenly skipping breakfast or choosing to eat at home. Speaking of which, why are people, Gen Z and millennials included, suddenly skipping breakfast? What's really going on? Let's dive deep into this breakfast conundrum and unpack the brutal truth behind McDonald's rapidly shrinking morning sales. First of all, it's crucial to understand that breakfast is not just a meal for McDonald's, it's a cornerstone of their revenue. The CEO, Chris Kempczynski, himself has highlighted that consumers are increasingly either skipping breakfast or opting to eat at home. This is not a minor blip, it's a seismic shift. Why people would suddenly abandon a meal that traditionally kick-started their day is largely tied to economic realities and evolving consumer behavior. You see, consumers are now being cautious, especially those in the low and middle income brackets who have cut back on dining out due to the higher cost of living. The thing is, breakfast, being a daily routine meal, is often the first to go when wallets tighten. Why pay $5 or more for a breakfast sandwich when you can scramble eggs at home for pennies? This is a question McDonald's must be asking itself every morning now. The economic squeeze means consumers are scrutinizing every dollar, and breakfast, which used to be a quick grab and go, has become a calculated expense. McDonald's value menu and $5 meal deals, while helpful, haven't been enough to lure back the breakfast crowd. Then there is the behavioral angle. The pandemic changed routines. More people are working from home or have flexible schedules, so the traditional morning rush to grab breakfast on the way to work has diminished. This structural change in daily habits means fewer spontaneous breakfast visits. If you're already at home, why bother driving to McDonald's? This shift questions the very foundation of McDonald's breakfast business model, which thrived on commuters and office workers. Moreover, McDonald's has faced stiff competition in the breakfast arena from fast casual chains and coffee shops offering perceived higher quality or healthier options. The modern consumer, especially younger demographics, is more health conscious and adventurous. The classic McMuffin might feel like yesterday's news when there are avocado toasts and oat milk lattes just around the corner. And let's not forget the psychological factor. Eating breakfast at home has become a symbol of frugality and self-care in uncertain times. Skipping breakfast outside is now about regaining control in an unpredictable economy. So McDonald's isn't just losing customers to competitors, it's losing them to a broader lifestyle shift that favors home-cooked meals and budget-conscious choices. To add insult to injury, the decline in breakfast sales has a ripple effect on the entire business. Breakfast typically has higher margins and drives traffic that spills over into other day parts. Losing breakfast customers means fewer overall visits, less cross-selling of beverages and snacks, and a weakening of brand loyalty. McDonald's CEO has pointed out that while the company plans to boost beverages and chicken offerings, these won't fully compensate for the breakfast shortfall anytime soon. This and many more are why McDonald's is losing all its customers so quickly. As you can see, it's not just about the food, it's a whole mix of things nobody really wants to admit. It's a sign of bigger changes in how we eat, spend, and think about convenience. Whether it's inflation, health trends, or just plain old boredom with the same old menu, the golden arches aren't quite as golden as they used to be. But hey, if they figure it out, maybe we'll all be back for another Big Mac someday. Until then, keep checking this channel for more constructive analysis like this and shopping secrets you won't find anywhere else. Thanks for watching.